I literally just pressed record and next door Jess is filming the British tag. What are the odds? This is what I get for refilming videos. I filmed this video 20 minutes ago and I knew I'd have to do it again. And here we are. I have filmed this video so many times in the past and every single time I've nixed it, like at the editing stage or even beforehand, because I just never say it the way I want to say it. And it never works. I know that loads of you have asked for this video, and maybe there will be more in the future, who knows, it all depends on me. So I've been interested in witchcraft since day one, and I think it really starts with this. This looks like a much loved childhood book to you, that's because it is a very much loved childhood book. This is The Worst Witch by Jill Murphy. There was a TV series which I was equally into, but the books were what started it for me. I could recite the entire first chapter off by heart. Such a big deal, these books. Oh my god. I wanted to be a witch with a pointy hat and a broomstick and a cat, and I wanted to go to Miss Cackle's school for witches. Academy for witches even. Just, oh my god, these books, just, oh, they're so good. They are so good. They are everything to me. These, everything, seriously. And I think that is a big thing, like the fiction of witchcraft. Like before Harry Potter, before magic literature became a huge deal, that was what started it off for me. Let me show you my altar. My altar used to be over here, but I've rearranged things because I'm becoming a little bit twitchy about keeping everything clean and organised and in its place. So now the altar is over here. I've had this altar for a very long time. By altar I just mean like this little table. I think I bought it from my little sister for 50p and just kept it because it is a perfect altar table. It's perfect, it's gorgeous. And whatever else, like whatever other witchy failings I have, I am pretty good at decorating an altar for a Sabbath. I'm good with the aesthetics of witchcraft, not so much with the actual practice. But yeah, this is the altar. Very bare and blank at the moment because like I'm in an in-between stage, but this is like where all the books are. Let's see. So this was the first seriously cool book that I got. This was just a plain book of spells. The first one wasn't in the store, I got that later, but it's a pretty good starting out book. It's very simple, like just spells, none of the spiritual aspects, very pretty, very beautifully laid out. And one of the next books I got was this. Spells for Teenage Witches by Marina Baker. And that was the book that introduced the spiritual side of things and the Sabbats, which weren't mentioned at all in the book of spells. And that led me on to other books that dealt with Wicca, basically. And Wicca and paganism aren't... I don't feel like I can identify as a Wiccan or a pagan at this point. Possibly ever. I've kind of made my peace with that. Because a lot of the books that I read a couple of Silver Ravenwolf books and a couple of other books by big name authors like Kate West and whatnot. And it just doesn't gel with me. I think it's the binary split, like the really defined binary split of god, goddess, masculine, feminine, with no interplay and intersection, which just doesn't work with my personal mindset, and it works for others, doesn't work for me. Whatever, different strokes for different folks, no big deal. And I don't feel like I can identify as pagan either because I believe in gods, to a sense. Like, if you've read Small Gods by Terry Pratchett, I believe that gods have power because people believe in them. That opinion is definitely subject to change. I'm very... that expression right there when it comes to gods. So when I was younger and like doing spells from those books, and sometimes they worked, sometimes they didn't, at that point, and now I think especially, just always I guess, for me like there's a huge intersection between real life witchcraft and fictional witchcraft, and real and fictional magic. So I was hugely into things like this. You can see like it's kind of tattered, but I adored this book. Again, very pretty, very neatly laid out, but there was like a schedule for how to become a wizard if you were an apprentice at this fictional school that you would stick to, and I tried to follow this schedule and I wanted to be you know, I wanted to attain this sort of thing, and I would copy out pages of this book onto pieces of paper and roll them into scrolls and put them in flower pots, try and like make my room more like this ideal. Very much into the aesthetics of witchcraft, like I said earlier, not so much the actual craft part of it, which is the part that I'm trying to get into now, which is why I feel like this is a better time to make this video, when I'm actually getting back into the whole studying side of it. Like, I'm getting new books and annotating, underlining, like an actual studying, which I think is the way to go about this when my opinions are so fluid, and what I'm doing and what I believe in is also very fluid right now when it comes to witchcraft. But this is always something that I have, it's something that's always been a part of me. Oh, I should also show you my cupboard. My wardrobe is split in two, so you have clothes on this side like hanging up, and on this side we have a load of witchy stuff. The bottom two shelves are scarves, hats, that sort of thing, but these three shelves, I'll brighten this in the editing process so you can actually see, are full of witchy stuff. And my diary's all at the back there. It's always been like that in my room. I've always had those shelves purely for witchy stuff. It's always been a constant. Even if I haven't been actively practicing, it's always been a thing that I've had going on the side, if that makes sense. So back to the idea of the intersection of fiction and reality. One of the main things that has helped with getting back into this properly has been a fanfiction series that I started in October, November, I think. I link my AO3 in every single video I do in the description, which is my archive of our own, which is where I post my fanfiction. So like, you can go find that if you're interested. It's Les Mis fanfiction, urban fantasy, modern AU, that sort of thing. But that has been really helpful because I find things easier to understand, and I find my own opinions easier to explain to myself and to explain to other people if I work through them in a fictional sense, if I write about them, if I write about characters going through these sort of experiences at different levels. So, you know, beginning witches and older witches and different sorts of magic, all that sort of thing. And when I say I'm getting back into it now, I mean the actual crafting side of it, because when I was younger I wanted the results without putting in any of the work, and there is a lot of work that goes into this, especially things like meditation, like visualization, like really concentrating hard on one thing for a long time, which I don't know if other people find it easier, but I find it really difficult. So working on that is going to take some time, and it's the actual practice of it that I'm looking forward to getting more into, because I think it will help dispel. I have a pretty wide streak of cynicism and skepticism when it comes to this sort of stuff, which clashes with what I feel to be true, with what I have always believed in and always will believe in, I feel. But that clashes with what I've seen and what I cannot believe, what I cannot bring myself to believe yet. But, you know, hopefully I will conquer that. I've just got to believe more in my own abilities, believe more in this sort of thing, believe that it can happen, which is difficult, but I'm working on it. So yeah, I'm trying again for the nth time. I've had so many false starts where witchcraft is concerned, you know, putting it on New Year's resolutions list, like this year I'm gonna get back into it. I'm gonna do spells, I'm gonna read a witchy book every month, I'm gonna celebrate the Sabbats properly, do rituals, all of that sort of thing. Again, all of the like the structure of it and the skeleton of it without any substance. So I'm gonna change that. I have a resolution and I have time now to work on it, which is really good. And I have a witchy Tumblr now, if you're interested. I'll link that in the description, which is pretty bare at the moment, but not in the future, hopefully. We'll see how it goes. And I'll also link a song by the Mountain Goats called White Cedar, which, if you haven't heard of the Mountain Goats, go and check them out. Listen to the Sunset Tree album first. They're just such a good band. Such a good band. But there's a line in that, "You can't tell me what my spirit tells me isn't true," which is like a tattoo-worthy line, for me anyway. It just resonates with me a lot, and I've been repeating it to myself a lot of times. Feel free to ask questions, even if I warn you ahead of time. My answers may be very unsure, because I am still very unsure and still working my way through this myself. It's a work in progress, as is everything in life.